Nope, your calendars are correct. This is not a Monday, okay? I decided to launch Setup Wars in the middle of the week because I honestly just felt like it. Nonetheless, welcome to Setup Wars episode 375, the show where we show off the best setups in the entire world. If you guys have yet to participate and show off your sweet battle station, make sure to watch the video link down below. But with that said, sit back and relax and let the Setup Wars begin. Imagine you're ready for movie night and the movie you want to watch isn't available in your region. Now, some people might not care, but I, for one, am not missing my favorite character, Dumbledore, journeying across Middle-earth. That's why I use ExpressVPN. It lets you change your online location with just a click, so you can pull up the version of the streaming library that actually has what you want without having to jump through hoops. But ExpressVPN isn't just for movies. It helps you keep your private life actually private. That incognito mode that you guys know and love doesn't exactly stop your ISP or your Starbucks Wi-Fi owner from seeing where your traffic is going. ExpressVPN encrypts your internet traffic and routes it through secure servers, so your ISP and sketchy public Wi-Fi networks have way less useful data on you. They've even got new tiered plans, so you can pick what fits you best, with pricing that can go as low as about 12 cents a day. And just for my subscribers, find out how you can get up to 4 extra months on top of your subscription by clicking my link down below, expressvpn.com/TechSource. The first setup of the day belongs to Jared, an operations manager from England who built it as an all-in-one workstation. It's a work-from-home corner, a gaming setup, and somehow also a love letter to basically every iconic console era ever. The retro collection here is insane. We're talking C64 Mini, GameCube, NES systems, right up through the PlayStation lineup, and then modern day with stuff like the Steam Deck and Oculus Quest 3. It's basically a timeline of how gaming evolved. And the wild part is, he didn't collect these over decades from his childhood, which a lot of you might assume. He actually hunted a ton of this down and put it together in about 12 months, which is very impressive. That just goes to show that if you ever want to put together such a collection, that it is still possible. Now, I do want to give Jared some points for not going overboard with the slat panels. I know these are super popular and everyone and their mothers use them, but most people will just cover both adjacent walls, and that would have been too much. Instead, he split the walls with 2 different textures, which is what you want to add separation. This is the correct way to use slat panels. Now, on the desk side, he went with a T layout. We got a Samsung Odyssey G9 Ultralight as the primary, a 24-inch Dell in vertical, and then he's even got a 12.3-inch touchscreen sitting underneath to monitor performance and control lighting. Peripheral-wise, it's mostly Logitech, a G515 keyboard paired with a G502X mouse for gaming, and then we got an MX keys with an MX Master 3S for work. And I like how the desk itself isn't cluttered either. His work MacBook is docked off to the side, headphones are tucked away underneath, and the whole surface stays clean and usable. And speaking of clean, the cable management underneath the desk is superb. He's using a cable rack to channel everything, sleeves to bundle the runs, and because the PC is mounted right underneath the desk, the wiring and space management become way easier to control. The only thing my spidey senses started tingling for is the position of the PC right next to the door. You're probably already used to that position, but one bad step right after entering the room could really get ugly. Or maybe I'm just paranoid. Aside from that, the PC itself is a beast. We got a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and a Gigabyte RTX 5080, which is more than plenty to keep you happy, at least until the DDR5 prices come back down. He is already planning on cleaning up the wiring inside the case with nicer cable extensions, which honestly would have been my first recommendation, because once you go this clean everywhere else, the inside of the PC can't be the one place that's neglected. And personally, for that CPU, I would have gone with a 360mm AIO just for better temps and aesthetics, but depending on your use case, it's not a deal breaker. Overall, this is a lovely multi-purpose space you can lock in for work, kick back for gaming, and then turn around and get hit with pure nostalgia from the retro collection. Thank you, Jared, for blessing our eyeballs today. Setup numero dos belongs to Keshan, coming in from Illinois with a predominantly white setup that's clean, bright, and very personal once you start noticing all the little custom touches. He's been a long-time fan of the show, and he set himself a goal for 2024. Build something worthy of submitting. And the coolest part is how he pulled it off. Keshan has a degree in 3D modeling and animation, and he's been into 3D printing for about a decade, doing work cosplays, practical solutions, side hustle stuff, and he basically used the setup as a canvas for that skill set. On top of that, he kept it budget friendly, and roughly 75% of what you're seeing here is either secondhand from Facebook Marketplace and eBay, or made by him. That's the kind of energy I love, because it proves that you don't need to throw money at a setup to make something really cool and custom. It's technically a dual display setup. You've got a 34-inch Dell Ultralight as the main monitor, stacked above a 24-inch Huion canvas drawing tablet, which he uses for 3D modeling, plus Discord and Spotify. If you're into 3D work, that's actually a super practical layout, and I'm willing to bet you'd get along with a lot of the design nerds on the server. I'm looking at you, Danny. For audio, he's running Audio-Technica A2 Plus speakers on the desk, and there's a Yamaha sub underneath it, which is always a nice move because it keeps the desk clean while still giving you real low-end bass notes when you're gaming or consuming content. For peripherals, he went with the Aula F75 Pro and a Logitech G502X. And then off to the side, you've got his Stream Deck. Except it's not just sitting on the desk like you typically see. He literally measured and cut a hole into the countertop so it sits flush. And then he modeled and 3D printed a frame for it so it looks built in. That is pretty freaking cool. Besides that, you've got all the 3D printed crystal accents around the setup. From the controller stand, the speaker crystals, even the case base and GPU decoration. You know, that's something really unique that you can't simply go and buy off of Etsy. Love to see it. The PC itself is built inside the Lian Li O11 Vision Compact with a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D and an MSI RTX 4070 Ti Super with a little sensor panel inside to monitor the components. Cable management is solid overall, especially considering the constraints since he's renting the place. He actually cut and painted a white wood panel to hide the cable rack underneath the desk, and it flips up for access, which is clever. The only thing that really sticks out is the nanoleaf cable coming down from the wall. Now, because he's renting, he couldn't simply drill a hole in the wall to route it, but I definitely grab a slim white cable channel so it becomes one clean straight line instead of a dangling cable. It's a tiny change, but as you all know, the devil is in the details. All in all, a great setup with lots of personality baked into it, and I really respect how you use your own skills to make it unique while staying on a budget. I'm genuinely curious what you come up with next, Keshan, and shout out to your girlfriend too for supporting the journey. Thank you for being on the show.
I got it booming. Stats going up, we all going dumb, not stupid. Trying to keep up with me, I told him.
Now that edit was honestly pretty hype. It low-key reminded me of Marojan's video, who you guys might already know if you're a longtime subscriber. So this setup belongs to Miller, a 17-year-old from Ohio who built this space for schoolwork, gaming, video, and photo editing, and graphic design. And you can tell he actually cared about the atmosphere he was creating in the room. The colors are cohesive, the mood is consistent, and the snowboard on the wall is a great touch, hinting that this isn't the only place he spends his time in. You can probably tell there's been quite a bit of color grading happening in these photos, but it looks very clean. What's even cooler is how much of this was custom. Miller didn't just buy a desk and call it a day. He cut, stained, and sealed a butcher block, then used the offcut to make matching shelves with heavy-duty brackets. He also made a custom concrete-style wall using drywall compound and concrete die, and even built a wood light bar with a Govee rope light mounted into it. Most things were kept minimal here. He's running a single 24-inch Acer Nitro on a monitor arm, and it's framed nicely by the shelves, plants, and the gear around it. On the desk, he's using an EpoMaker keyboard with a Mira M mouse sitting on our TechSource Topo desk mat in black. A great choice because it matches the whole dark theme perfectly. By the way, guys, a quick and huge announcement regarding our store. We have officially released the remainder of the designs for our Season 14 mouse pads. we are no longer going to do the gradual release every season. We're just going to launch all 5, 6, sometimes even 7 designs all at once. Same thing with our posters. We just released our season 2 collection. Not gonna lie, we got some pretty sick designs that will surely help spice up your space, or you can create a custom one with any design you want. You can find it all on our store, TechSourceShop.com, or just click the link below. If I had to nitpick one thing, I just bundle the keyboard and the mouse cables together so you don't see 2 separate wires going across the desk. Though it's hard to tell whether you have enough slack for both given the PC's positioning. For audio, he went with a pair of Klipsch speakers, SteelSeries Arctis 3 headphones, and a Blue Yeti mic, which is placed on top of one of the shelves alongside his other gear. He mentioned in the notes that the speakers don't work, which is tragic because that's like buying a nice desk and realizing it's missing legs. But it's usually something simple like a power brick, cable connection, or even a volume pod, so hopefully that's an easy fix. No complaints about the cable management. Most of it is mounted underneath the desk, and even if it's not fully covered, it's not really visible if you stand right in front of the setup, and the angles you'll actually see it day to day. And considering you're already building custom wood pieces, you could easily make a little hinged panel underneath and make the wiring disappear completely. Onto the PC, which is a blacked out build with an i9-12900K and RTX 4070 Ti, which is a solid combo for the gaming and the work that he does. Overall, this is a really tasteful setup. It's cohesive, it's creative, and the DIY work adds personality. There's nothing that feels out of place, and my man even has his iPhone set up in the same theme. The one thing I'd say is out of place is that fidget spinner on the pegboard. Though you are 17, so I don't blame you. Jokes aside, great job, Miller, and thank you for coming on the show. Up next is a returning contestant, Pinhas, also known as Graphics Art Lab on our Discord server, who you might remember from episode 347, Supporter Edition, where we had a setup layout very similar to mine. This time around, a lot has changed though. Since his last appearance, Pinhas got married, built a whole second setup for the wifey, and they basically decided to turn the room into an ultimate dual command center. So after the wedding, they took the whole new chapter literally and rebuilt everything from the ground up. You can feel that couple energy in the room, especially with the Dragon Ball inspired art panel of them on the wall. For his own setup, Pinhas is running quad monitors again, a 34-inch Asus ROG Swift as the centerpiece, 2 Xiaomi 34-inch curved displays as side monitors, and then an LG Ultra Gear at the bottom. Peripherals were also upgraded. He's now got a SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL and a Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2 Special Edition mouse. But it doesn't stop there. He's also added some cool custom touches like a PC data screen attached to the edge of the desk and even a custom fingerprint sensor for a secure login. Audio-wise, he's still committed to using the Monkey Banana Gibbon 5 studio monitors only and doesn't use any headphones. I'm actually really curious how that affects the wifey whenever you guys are in the room at the same time. Like, doesn't it disturb her when she's working or if you guys are playing together? I would assume headphones would make the most sense. Cable management looks alright, though just like last time, I do see multiple power strips daisy chained together with half a server room worth of devices. I would definitely recommend against it, and it's always best to spread the load across separate outlets where possible. You need to keep it safe, not just for the setup, but for you and the wife as well. As for the PC running his battle station, it's a full custom loop featuring a Ryzen 9 9950X and an MSI RTX 4090, an absolute beast of a system. Now onto the wifey setup, which comparatively isn't as spectacular, but it's powered by an ROG Ally X, which we haven't seen on Setup Wars before. She's got a single Aorus 24.5-inch monitor, a Crystal Keyboom Phantom 81 keyboard, and a Superlight 2 mouse. It's very minimal, but covers everything she needs. Gaming, creative work, and just a cozy space right next to the hubby. And to tie both worlds together, Pinhas ran this Govee RGB strip from his setup to hers, so the whole room feels connected. It's a beautiful tribute to the fresh start, and I couldn't be happier for them. Thank you, Pinhas, for sharing this with us. Wrapping up the episode is Tyler from upstate New York, who built this setup for productivity and gaming. He's a graphic designer, which explains why he has quad displays, including a wall-mounted TV above the desk. Below that is where the real work happens. He's got dual Samsung monitors in the middle and a Huan drawing tablet underneath. He basically has his main display up top for gaming and consuming content, secondary windows for reference material, and then the tablet for drawing, sculpting, retouching, and whatever wizardry graphic designers do. We actually had another Huan setup earlier in the episode too, which makes me think this is the go-to for most artists. Gear-wise, he's got an Anker Bluetooth keyboard paired with a Logitech G303 mouse and Logitech Z200 speakers on both sides. It's safe to say he doesn't game with the keyboard and mouse, especially because the setup is mainly powered by his MacBook, which he placed on a dock to the side. But when he wants to kick back and relax, he powers up the PS5 that you can see on the left side and grabs the controller from the pegboard, which also holds his headsets. The decor is simple. We've got a couple shelves with collectibles, some fake plants and vines to soften the space, and a wall with posters, the Harry Potter books, some movies, and retro figurines. I don't have any complaints when it comes to cable management, especially because they're not visible from the front, but if you want to clean up the look from the side as well, I do recommend wrapping them with a dark cable sleeve. That way you don't see each and every individual cable. But other than that, a great setup to wrap up the show. Very clean job, Tyler, and thank you for coming on the show. Unfortunately, that is it for this episode, and a huge shout out to everyone who participated. I know I say this all the time, but it's genuinely so cool to see how much effort you guys have put into your spaces. It is honestly inspiring. Let me know in the comment section which of these setups inspired you the most. The light just went out. I gotta replace the battery. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.